Welcome, everybody. I am Arlett Hartie, blogger and joy strategist from chasing-joy.com. And welcome to the Chasing Joy Show. The Chasing Joy Show is an extension of the Chasing Joy blog and brand where I encourage people, mostly women, to make happiness a priority in their life before they find themselves unhappy and to create a foundation for joy that'll help you build that resilience, or like I like to call it, that bounce back factor. And this is the Chasing Joy Show, where I continue that conversation with fun and interesting guests who have an interesting perspective on life or happiness, or who have expertise that I feel can help us all to have more happiness in our life. And so, welcome to the show. The show is being live streamed in the private Chasing Joy Facebook group. And the people watching are our virtual studio audience who can ask us questions and join in the conversation virtually. And then it'll later air on YouTube. So, with that, I'm going to ask our guest for tonight, who is Miss Erika Cartledge, to turn on her camera and microphone and join us for the show. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound
Okay,
loud
good.
and clear. How are you?
Perfect. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So far, we have Miss Lily watching with us.
Hi, Lily.
She has, I'm pretty sure she has been in our virtual studio audience for every single Chasing Joy
Wow,
show.
that is impressive.
She's like a VIP, right?
Hey, girl.
If we were in person, she'd be in the front row.
I know that's right. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm impressed because usually by 10 o'clock, I am in bed.
Well, thank you for staying up late for us. I appreciate
True
it.
story. I took a nap.
So before I formally introduce you to the show, we're going to do our fun icebreaker that we do with every guest, where I'm going to ask you to share 3 statements with us. 2 of them are true and 1 is a lie. And we are going to try and guess the lie.
Okay. All right. So, first statement. I lived in Europe for a period of time. Second statement, I broke my arm when I was 8 trying to do a flip off the swings. Third statement, I made it to the final casting round of a reality show about wedding planning, but the show never aired.
These are hard. Any of these could be true. All right, so let me repeat them back. So your first statement was that you lived in Europe. Did you say for a year?
For a period of time.
For a period of time. Okay, you lived in Europe for a period of time. You broke your arm trying to jump off the swing?
Trying to flip off of a
swing. Did you say when you were 8?
Yeah, when I was 8.
And then the third one was you made it to the final round for a reality show, casting round for a reality show that never aired, about wedding planning.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's a hard one. So, hi, Marilyn. Marilyn's watching us as well.
Hi, Marilyn.
So there's a slight delay from the Zoom to the Facebook. So I'm going to give our audience a moment to think about these statements and figure out which one is the lie. I feel like any of these could be true. I definitely could see you trying to do the flip off the swing as a little girl.
Oh yeah, I was adventurous.
I saw the fabulous pictures from your wedding, so I have no doubt you could have made it to the final cast. Plus, I've done 2 events with you.
Yeah,
so
you
I have
yeah.
no doubt you could have made it to the final round of a wedding show. And I mean, you're definitely a fashionista. I don't know. Do people still say fashionista? I don't know. You're definitely that. And I feel like Europe could have an influential part in that. So any of these could be true. What do you guys think in our studio audience? I'm looking to the side here. This is where my phone is, where
Oh
I can
yeah,
see
no,
the
I
comments.
I totally understand that line.
Yeah. So Marilyn says she thinks number two. So number two was the flipping off the swing.
So she thinks that's the
She
lie.
thinks that's the lie.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Does anyone else have any guesses? Uh-oh. I think she says she's changing her mind now. All right. I think the lie, I'm gonna say Europe is the lie because I feel like that would have come up more often if that were true. But I know you've
Okay.
lived a bunch of places. I do remember that. I'm gonna say Europe. Let's see. I don't know what else. Marilyn, did you change it? You said oh, now she said three, which was the wedding,
Oh, the
the
wedding reality show.
casting, the final round of casting for the wedding reality show. All right. Oh wait, Miss Lily says the wedding fan reality show. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So we have one vote, my vote for Europe being the lie, and two
Okay.
votes for the reality show being the lie. So tell us which is the lie.
So Marilyn should have stuck with her first instinct because breaking my arm is the lie.
So we're all wrong.
I have never broken a bone, knock on wood. So that was the lie. I did live in Europe when I worked in investments. I used to write information and marketing material about our European investment products. So I lived in Europe for 4 months to sit with the investment team and learn how to do their entire investment process so I could translate that into like terms that regular people would understand.
Wow.
So I lived in London, had a flat there, got to travel to like a bunch of different countries. So either my friends were coming to visit me or I was like leaving to go to another country because in the time it takes to get from Philly to DC, you could be in another country on the train in Europe.
Right.
So that was amazing. And then my husband and I were in rounds to be on a reality show about wedding planning, but it's so interesting. So if you've ever seen the show like Disney Dream Weddings, it was like that, but we didn't find out until we got to the final round that it was like country music influence. And so we just couldn't like fake that. You know, they're like, how would you feel if Keith Urban or like Blake Shelton came to sing at your wedding? And we're like, could we get Adam Levine from The Voice instead? Like, does it have to be Blake Shelton? So we couldn't fake it. Wow. So we made it like all the way through. They did like all these interviews with us and taped us and all of this stuff, but we're not that good of a liar. Like we're just a little too authentic. But the show ended up like never coming out anyway. So I feel like if they would have cast us, it
would have come out, right? It would have come out. And maybe if it wasn't country music,
maybe if it wasn't country music,
had a more broad audience. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted us because we were Black, sort of in diversity. But like I said, like, we just there was
nothing
no,
against
like,
country music.
No,
I just don't automatically think of country music and weddings.
No, it was sort of like you plan your wedding and then like your favorite country star sings to walk you down the aisle, and they add all these Disney touches to so it's like really over the top. My wedding was already over the top, so like also maybe there was no place to like go from there.
You're already at the top. So before we dive into our interview here, let me kind of formally introduce Erika. So Erika Cartledge. And I'm saying your last name right. I don't think I've ever said it out loud.
I know. Yeah, it's like literally how it's spelled, like Cartledge. People always call me Mrs. Cartledge, though. So
wow. Erika Cartledge is the founder of Your Chic is Showing. It's the brand that she started to help clients elevate their personal style and build their confidence. She makes personal style accessible to clients through variety of services, including courses, ebooks, and her award-winning blog. She strives to provide a unique and elegant and chic experience to each and every one of her clients. She is also running, other than running Your Chic is Showing, she's also the co-founder of Like Kamala, and she sits on the board of directors for 2 nonprofit agencies. She also has a day job in the philanthropic, I always have a hard time saying that, philanthropic
you nailed it.
sector. And she's also a mom and a wife. She does a lot. And so I'm very honored to have her on the show, especially at 10 o'clock. at night. I met Erika, I don't even know how many years ago it's been
Gosh.
now.
So you know what's funny? I think I met you like the summer right after I got back from Europe.
Maybe. We met at a blog conference,
Mm-hmm.
Blogging While Brown, I believe it was.
Yeah, yeah.
And we hit it off there, and we've been connected and friends since. We've run two Chasing Joy Brunch and Learn events
Yes.
together. Erika has been a sponsor of many other Chasing Joy events and charity events. And we've just supported each other through the years on our different ventures. And I personally think it's awesome that both of our brands are still around, because there's not a
Uh,
lot of brands
yeah,
that
including
are
the
still
conference we met
around,
at.
right? There's still not a lot of brands that are still around, and we've managed to stay relevant and evolving with the time. So I'm super excited to have you here.
Thank
Um,
you so much. I'm excited too.
let's see, we have Janice also watching now,
Hi,
and she says
Janice.
she follows you on Facebook and really loves your style.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank
I'll
you.
add to my intro that of all the stylists that I've been connected with or know, Erika's the only one that I would actually let dress me. Um,
Well, thank you.
I would, yes. So, one of the reasons I wanted to have Erika on the show, aside from us having done events together and knowing she'd just be an awesome guest, is I do think there is like a fundamental connection between how we feel on the inside and how we look on the outside. And I think it can go both ways. That if you're not feeling your best, sometimes you can, kind of dress yourself up and feel a little better. Um, and sometimes when you maybe aren't doing as much with your outward appearance as you'd like, feeling a little bit better can make you feel encouraged to do that. So I think it's a definite connection that we should not ignore. So while I think sometimes people think that like style and clothes is like, you know, frivolous or, what is the word I want to say, like superficial.
Hmm.
But that's not true. Like there's a definite connection, and so um, you would be the expert that we could talk to about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're 100% correct. I always tell my clients when they work with me, I'm like, 20% of this is the clothes that we wear, but 80% of it is heart work.
Mm,
So, what I really work with my clients on doing is reflecting the inside outwardly. So, just like you said, when you are working on yourself, it's an inside job, right? So it's how do you talk to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? What are you speaking? Like I know you said I had a t-shirt from you that says no negative self-talk.
that's right.
And that is something, I mean, I got on a client this morning about it. I was like, okay, listen, you have to stop messaging me and saying, I want to hide this, I want to hide that, I want to hide this. I was like, no, our work is about focusing on what we want to accentuate, what we want to show off, what you feel good about and what you feel confident about. And I literally was like, every time you look in a mirror, every time you see your reflection in a window, say something nice to yourself. And so when you look good, you do feel good. But to your point about people feeling like it's frivolous, I mean, so many of my clients are like, it feels like going to therapy, but it's more fun because we do, I mean, we do so much of like the heart work that the style ends up just being a reflection of the work that you're doing on the inside.
I love that. I love that you call it heart work too.
Yeah, yeah. So and you when you think about like your clothes and stuff like that, I do a lot of closet detoxes with my clients where their closets are just like filled with junk. And usually it is because they are using the clothes and the shopping to fill some emotional void
Mm,
or, to treat some wound. So it could be that when they were kids, they didn't feel like they had anything or they grew up very poor. So then, like, once they get something, they hold on to it and hoard it and hoard it and hoard it because they can't let it go. It could be, I have a lot of clients I work with, divorcees who are like, oh, I started shopping because I was feeling the void that I felt was left from my husband. Like, but now, my ex-husband, but now I need to get rid of that dead weight. because I've gotten rid of the, not
The
feeling
dead
loved in
weight.
the relationship. Yeah, exactly. Like I've gotten rid of the dead weight. And so I work like a lot with people. So like it is about so much more than just like what you're putting on your body. But then it's also what you're putting on your body is a reflection of how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your body. And so when we don't feel good, we tend not to put clothes that look good on us because we're trying to cover up, we're trying to hide, we're trying not to be seen.
Yeah.
So it is about changing your mentality to say, okay, if I don't feel good, let me put something on that makes me feel good, because then when I look in the mirror, or like I said, every time I walk past a window and see my reflection, see myself on my selfie camera, whatever it is, it's a positive signal to your brain that you look good. So let's feel a little bit better.
And I just want to say that works, like the positive self-talk. I mean, I never did it that frequently, like every time I look in the mirror, which I think is really good advice. But I did it when I first went to college. When I first went to college, I was overwhelmed by just everything being so new.
Yeah.
And I was a bit of a late bloomer. So these girls just seemed so much more like fabulous than me in all of their 18-year-old glory. And I just didn't feel that. And I don't know where I got the idea. I think it was like Oprah probably, but I started this gratitude journal. I didn't even know it was a gratitude journal, but I would half of it would be writing down 3 things I was grateful for, and then the other half I would write down 3 things I liked about myself every day, and at least one had to be physical. And I did that, I think probably my whole, like maybe, I don't think I had to do it the whole semester, but I think I did it maybe like a good solid 6, 7 weeks, and it really worked. I started to feel much more confident, and then I kind of let that go. I didn't need, but it stuck with me that worked, and it's something I've gone back to, here and there as I've needed to. So that works. So everyone should take Erika's advice.
Yes. So yeah,
Every
like
time you see yourself,
every time you
say
look at
something
yourself.
positive.
Yep.
Do you ever give people ideas of what to say if they're
Yeah,
like they
so
don't know where
you
to
can,
start?
I mean, sometimes it's just as simple as like, I look and feel my best. I'm confident when I walk into a room. I hold my head up high and my shoulders back. Because even when you say it, you will physically do it.
Yeah, I wanted to
When
sit
you,
up as soon as you said
yeah,
that.
like
Sit
you
upright
will
in my seat.
physically do that. It could be, like I have a client and she had these like great legs and she didn't realize it. I was like, okay, so every time you walk by a mirror, you're gonna be like, I have some killer legs, okay? Like I was like, girl, we're buying everything short, like not inappropriate, but short. So it could just be, different things like that. So it can be not physical, but I do try to encourage people to also compliment the physical, because I think we as women especially are really bad at that, because there are certain body types that are just praised. And so if you don't have that, you don't go into the mode of praising yourself. You go into the mode of, I need to lose 10 pounds so my waist looks like that. Oh, she has like a bubble butt, but mine is just big and gross. Oh, I have cellulite. We don't go into the like, oh, I got a little booty. Okay. Like we automatically compare ourselves and we're like, yeah, I got a good butt, but like, look at this extra pudge that I have. So we are not in the habit of doing that. So I really try to encourage people to actually get in the habit of doing that. It also helps us accept compliments more gracefully, because a lot of times when we do look good and we are confident and we are out and about and people are noticing us, they will compliment us. Oh, I love your outfit. Oh, I love your dress. Oh, I love your shirt. And like, we don't say, a lot of women don't know how to just be like, thanks, girl. Really appreciate that. We'll be like, oh, this whole thing, I got it at Target. Oh, it was only $10. Like, no, just
Say thank you.
accept the compliment. And so if we start complimenting ourselves and talking to ourselves, it also just makes us like learn to be more gracious human beings.
Right. And it makes the other person feel uncomfortable when you don't accept the compliment.
Yeah. Very uncomfortable.
And it's like you're uncomfortable, which is why you're like kind of discounting it, but then now everybody's just feeling awkward when you just
Right.
be like,
Exactly. Exactly.
So I have known some people who have wanted to make changes in their wardrobe or appearance, but they just don't feel confident to do it. Like they feel scared to do it. What kind of advice could you give people who want to make a change to their look, but for whatever reason they're afraid?
So my number one piece of advice would actually be to hire an expert if you can. Here's why I say that. When you think about like, oh, I tweaked my knee, right? We don't try to like I mean, sometimes we do try to home remedy it, but if it's bad enough, we go to a doctor. We go to a professional. When you knock out, like I remember a friend like got hit in the face and her tooth got knocked out. It wasn't like, oh, how am I gonna like fix this myself? We called the dentist emergency line,
Right.
because they know how to fix it. And I think a lot of times we get into these ruts and we think we know how to fix it. And so what ends up actually happening is, when you're trying to fix it, you buy more clothes and more of the same, because you think buying the things is going to make you happy, but you just buy more of the things that make you unhappy, because you either don't understand your body type, you don't really know your proportions, all of that. So if you are in a position to work with an expert, I would actually say work with an expert, because we'll be able to identify, okay, here's where the wardrobe gaps are, or okay, your body is really a rectangle, but you buy clothes that are made for inverted triangles. And so that's why, even though you have all these great clothes, they don't look quite right on you, because they're just not designed for your body type, right? So I think that's like the first thing, is really seek help, in the same way that if you had trouble in another area in your life, you would actually go to a professional who knows what they're doing. I think another thing is to make tiny incremental changes, because it feels overwhelming. Like, so many of my clients come to me and they're just like, I feel overwhelmed by the idea of changing my style. Like, they're like, I know it could be better. I know I could do things differently, but they're just like, I'm overwhelmed by the idea of it. So I don't even start, because it just feels too big for me. And so I think if you can take tiny little changes, that will take you a really long way. So one of the easiest things to do is actually to do a closet detox, or a mini closet detox, right? Because we talked about how we get all that junk into our closet and in our wardrobe, and we're using it to fill some sort of void or hold on to some sort of memory. And so if you can even just say, and I don't mean spend a weekend cleansing your whole closet, I mean, okay, for 3 days this week, I'm going to pull out 3 pieces I haven't worn in 6 months. That's very manageable. That will take you 5 minutes to find something you haven't worn in 6 months that you know you're not going to put on your body, and say, I'm either going to sell it, upcycle it or recycle it, donate it, or if it's just in terrible condition, trash it, right? Yeah. And so if you just commit to a couple days a week doing something like that, suddenly, in a very easy, manageable way. And I tell my people that do it, I'm like, pull your 3 pieces and walk away from your closet. But suddenly, bit by bit, you start to unload the things that just aren't serving you, that don't make you happy anymore. Maybe like people keep stuff. They're like, oh, my great aunt that died 15 years ago gave me this sweater, and I feel like I have to hold on to it. Girl, why? You've never worn it and it's ugly. Get rid of it. And people feel like, oh, if I throw away the clothes, I throw away the memory. You are not going to forget your great aunt.
Right. Take a picture of it.
Right. Take a picture of it, put it in your cloud, and be done with it, because you're not wearing it. It's not serving you. And when you take those pieces out, you are telling the atmosphere, you're telling the universe, if you believe in God, whatever you believe in, you are now signaling, okay, I'm making room for something new and better in my life. And that's why I say it gets into the heart work piece of it, right?
And I would say also, start when you're detoxing those things, start with throwing out the clothes that don't fit. I think, especially if they're too small, I think that stuff just makes you feel depressed. And if you have a goal to lose weight and you lose weight again, you're going to want to buy new stuff anyway.
That's exactly it sounds like you sit in on my sessions with my clients, because I'm like, when you get to that size, you're going to want to lose weight anyway. But I think I just did an Instagram story about this. When you keep clothes that are too small for you, what you are really signaling to yourself and to, like I said, God, the universe, whatever it is you believe in, you are signaling that I don't feel worthy of something until I reach a size, or I weigh a certain number of pounds, or I do this thing. And the fact of the matter is, you're worthy now. You just have to believe that you're worthy. And so, yeah,
your
I
worth
agree.
isn't determined by your size anyway. You deserve to look and feel fabulous no matter what size you are.
Exactly. So yeah, I agree. I owe it. My client's like, oh, but if I just lose 5 more, I'm like, girl, then you're gonna call me and be like, okay, Erika, I'm ready to go shopping again. You're not gonna want to wear it.
Right. Miss Lily says she actually does have a sweater from her great her great aunt.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
kind
like
of out of date. Miss Lily, you can let it go.
you can let it go. Or what I tell my clients when I'm doing a detox, because like I get it, right? Like there's some stuff you're just like, I'm not letting this go, but it doesn't have to take up space in your closet. So create a sentimental box. And I don't mean get like a giant wardrobe box, get like a medium packing box and put those pieces in there, right? Like I have the mock-ups from when I had a clothing line, right? Like I'm not going to wear those shirts, but I don't necessarily want to get rid of them. I have a shirt from my mother-in-law. Again, I'm not going to wear it, but I don't want to get rid of it because she passed away. So I have a sentimental box, and those sit in the sentimental box. Oops. In there. I was worried about that my earring was going to fall out with my ear headpiece in. So I'm just going to actually
It was
take
just
them
to wake you up. Like, it's
but
late, let me jump out.
right. But I would say, like, definitely you don't have to, like, if you're like, I feel too strongly about getting rid of it, you don't have to physically get rid of it. Just stop letting it take up valuable space in your closet and make room for something new and better.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, Erica is also a mom. So I was really curious about what she's telling her kids about fashion and style. We've had a dialogue on quite a few different Chase and Joy episodes about how we communicate with children or the young people in our life, and like better ways to do that. So I was really curious from like a style aspect, what you're telling your young folks.
Yeah, so that was like a really good question. I really thought about it. And so I think what I try to do is balance. It's not right, but people do look at us based on our appearance, but balance that with, but I want you to wear things that feel good and you can express yourself and are age appropriate, because I have a 10 and 11-year-old who look like they are like 13 and 15, right? And they think they are like 13 and 15, and you're not. You're 10 and 11, so you still need to dress age appropriately. So I think what I really want them to do is to understand you can use fashion and style as a way to express yourself, as a way to communicate who you are. It doesn't have to be all about like name brands and how much money you have, but also, and you can wear what you want. Like we truly do not care. We have a daughter, and she, like, as much as I love skirts and dresses, like she could be less interested, like she could not be less interested in it, right? Like we went shopping yesterday and I was like, are you sure you don't want a skirt or dress? And she's like, no. And I'm like, I could have just bought one, but it's just gonna hang in her closet because that's not her thing. She
She'll
wants,
have to detox it.
right, she'll have to detox it and be like, maybe Erika got this for me and I really don't want it. I mean, I guess the good thing about kids is they grow, so she has an excuse. But I think it's just really important, to let them have choices and let them have decisions. And like I said, to keep it age appropriate. So we were looking for some things for sports camp for her. And she pulled out this pair, like she opened the door of the dressing room. And I was like, absolutely not. You're 10 years old. They're too short. They're too tight. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you think you're cute. Like, no. But she, like, I picked out some outfits and she's like, she's like, I don't like that. I won't wear it, but I do like these over here. I'm like, okay, let's try them on. So I think it's a matter of just like having an open dialogue, but also explaining why, when I'm like, you can't wear those, like why you can't wear, right? Not because I have a problem with people who wear stuff, but I'm like, we live in a society where people can't control their own actions and so as much as I want to be like, yeah, you're free, do what you want to do, I also have to balance that with, I'm still raising a child. And we have to make sure, even if you understand things, there are people out there that do not understand things, particularly for Black girls, where they see them as older and more mature. And, I don't know when in America and in the world we will get past this like rape culture of people saying they were asking for it and things like that. But I'm like, until we get past that, I have to teach her ways to protect herself. And one way to protect herself is just to dress in an age appropriate manner. Now, if she's 18 and she wants to do it, you're an adult.
Right.
You're an adult, and that, and that's on you. And like I said, I'm not going to shame you for what you do or don't put on. And I think, fashion and style is also just interesting. We have very interesting conversations because now you have gender non-conforming people, you have, you have transgender people. And so we are also trying to teach our kids how to be respectful, kind, decent human beings, and how to respect other people in their choices and their decisions, because at the end of the day, these are just the clothes that they put on their body, and like,
right.
who really cares if they're a good person on the inside?
Right.
So, and my 2-year-old, or my almost 2-year-old, he just is into like, no, I'm not wearing that because you picked it out. I'm gonna wear this instead. And so I'm like, fine, if you want to go to school in a Superman cape and mismatched shoes, knock yourself out. Don't even care.
Totally can relate to that. My 3-year-old lately has been saying no to everything I ask, no matter what it is. So I totally get that.
My favorite is when he's like, no, and then he does whatever I just told him to do anyway.
Yes.
Like, okay, weird flex, but okay.
Yes. So I'm just curious, with your daughter, do you feel like the fashion industry is better at having clothes available for that kind of preteen? Because I just remember having this experience because I don't know if I developed young or whatever, but I kind of looked a lot like this at 12. And I remember having such a hard time shopping with my mom because the kids stuff didn't fit me. But then the adult stuff made me look too adult. And then I remember my dad making me like send a skirt back to the store because my mom was like, no. And I was like, please, please. And she's like, your dad is going to say no. And I was like, please. She's like, all right, but we're going to have to bring it back. And she was right. We did. And I just remember it being really difficult. So I'm hoping that it's better, but I see you shaking your head that it's not.
So it's not. I think the leap from sort of when you go from kids clothes to like junior clothes are like very adult.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if she was a true junior 13, 14 wearing it, I may feel a little bit differently, but she's 10. So I don't necessarily want my 10-year-old walking around in crop tops, in very short shorts or things with sayings on it that are just like way too adult for a 10-year-old. And so I do find it difficult, and I find it hard for her because she, like I said, and even though she's not necessarily into like skirts and dresses, she does want to look cute, she does want to feel good in her clothes. And so I also feel bad for her because she's in this weird space where like she can't really buy things to express herself because she may actually like something that's in the kids section but it's not in her size, and they don't make it in her size. And so she ends up with a lot of like plain t-shirts or like a shirt that has a saying on it, but like in theory I could wear the same graphic t-shirt. And like no 10-year-old, I mean, like let's just be honest, no 10-year-old wants to be dressed like their mom, their stepmom, whatever. So I do wish that things were a little bit better for her. She had more options because it is a weird,
it's disappointing that like 25 or however many years, 25 plus years later, girls are still having that same challenge.
Well, and fashion does this very weird thing of like, we want you to be young and sexy, and like they push it, and then it's like, then you get to a certain age, it's like everything looks like old lady clothes, right? so they do it on the other end of the spectrum as well. And so I think it's, it can be difficult on both ends, like with a child. But I have some clients in my 60s that are like, I want to be jazzy, and everything that's age appropriate is not jazzy.
Right.
So I mean, fashion has this weird obsession with like looking young until you hit a certain age, and it's like, nope, you're just gonna look like an 8-year-old for the rest of your life.
So when I was giving your kind of formal bio, talk about all the things you do, right? sitting on boards, running companies, working a day job, being a mom, a wife? How are you? Um, I used to say balance, but I learned from my friend Veronica to say harmony. How are you finding harmony? Because balance doesn't really happen. But like, how are you juggling all these things and finding harmony? If you're finding harmony, how are you doing it?
Yeah, so I agree with your friend Veronica. I think balance is a lie that someone sold us and they made a lot of money off of it, and it can't happen. It doesn't happen. And so where I have found harmony and I learned to accept the harmony is that sometimes like I am full throttle wife and mother mode, right? So our two older kids are my bonus kids. And so they come and live with us for the summer. So we just got them. So like for the next week or so, it's full throttle like mom mode, because the transition from, being an only child to having siblings is a lot for our son, who's almost 2. The transition for them is a lot just because the rules in our house are different than the rules, at their house in Florida. And so there's an understanding that like maybe I'm only giving like 70% at work. I am intentionally not accepting clients in June because I'm just not adding that on to my plate right now. And I'm okay with that. Because they need to be my focus, and making the transition is a focus. And then, come July, I'll pick back up some clients. This is a slower time of year in philanthropy anyway, because I work at a school. So since school's out, like our donors are on vacation and, doing all that. So that kind of like naturally ebbs and flows with our schedule. So I'll be able to pick up some clients because we'll be in a groove and have a routine. But I think for me, it was really just accepting that like, I want to be a perfectionist at everything, but I can't be a perfectionist at everything at all times. So if like the focus is on wifehood and motherhood, I have to be okay with not taking new clients, just keeping my retainer clients, working on the client load I have, because I need to be what I need to be good at right now is being a mom. And, in July or in August, when the kids go back home, back to Florida, then I can be like, okay, what I need to be good at is being a stylist and bringing in new clients and making more money and growing my business.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's sort of where I find the harmony. And I think the other place is just, I used to never want to ask for help or never say like, I need a break. Now, like, not only will I say it, I schedule it. So 12 months out of the year, every month I block off a weekend where I do not meet with clients. I do not do anything. Like I said, I blocked off the month of June, so I can't take new clients on. I told my husband, I was like, I need to do a better job taking care of myself. So I was like, once a month, I'm going to get a facial from my esthetician. I was like, so Saturday morning, I'm going to be up before you and the boy are awake and out the door. So you're on your own. So it's just like doing things like that, or raising my hand to my husband and being like, hey, listen, I'm drowning in all of this stuff. Can we figure out a way to balance things out more, either between us, or like, can you take this over for a couple of weeks so I can just catch up and feel like, okay, I'm not, my head is above water again. But I think learning to ask for help is like the other really big thing. And that the pandemic actually is what taught me to be like, my rest is non-negotiable. Like it's just not. I started taking naps. Like when James would go, my son, the little one, when he would go down for naps, I started taking naps. And at first I felt bad, like, oh, I'm taking a nap in the midday. And it's like, no, I'm available to everyone at my job 24/7. Like if I take an hour nap, who cares? Like doesn't matter. And so that really forced me to be like, okay, everything's going back to normal. What are my new non-negotiables? And my rest and not burning myself out were the non-negotiables. And then even I think I posted about this earlier this week, like I had been feeling overwhelmed because I started having to go back into the office, and it felt like everyone was rushing to do things exactly like they were before, and I had to stop and reset. And now I'm just like, I don't feel bad about stopping and resetting. I'm out of the office. Do not email. I'm not responding. You can text me, but you won't hear back from me. And I don't feel bad about it anymore.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to the asking for help. That is something I have always struggled with. I think motherhood forces you to get better at it.
Yes. Yep.
Because it's not about you, and you realize you need help to take care of these little ones.
Yes.
So you have to get over your ego and whatever
Yes,
else is in the
very
way
quickly.
and ask for help. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a challenging one. I think a lot of people struggle with asking her for help for a variety of reasons.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of us, I mean, I know I equated if I had to ask for help to being a failure.
Mm,
Like I failed. And so I didn't want anyone to see me fail. And it's really funny because my parents raised me to be like, if you don't succeed, try and try again. If you fall, you pick yourself, right? So like
right.
I have failed at plenty of things, but my mom just gave me a box with like all this stuff from her house, including like my 11th place swim medals. So like clearly I'm not always winning at something. And my parents are, so I don't know when in my head I got this idea that like I was a failure if I needed help. And so I had to just like let that go. And I agree with you, like motherhood makes you're just like, whatever,
Yeah,
please come help me. I just need a nap and a shower. Like, come watch this
yeah.
baby.
For me, the asking for help, one, I'm not in practice, right? So like my parents were very like kind of, it was never really said, but it was pretty much like we take care of our own little house here. So anything I needed, I was just used to going to them. And I don't have them anymore,
Right.
in the physical. They've passed on. So I have no practice with asking anyone else for help with anything really. So it's like, okay,
Right.
practice. And then having a few instances where I felt like I did ask and didn't really receive it, and like it felt like a rejection. So I have like some rejection. So the help thing, it could be difficult for people for a whole lot of reasons, but regardless of the reason, like we all got to work on it because no one accomplishes anything by themselves.
Right.
Not no one. If
Right.
they tell you they did, they're lying or they're just completely oblivious to whoever was helping them behind the
Probably a
scenes.
little of both.
Probably. So I think you kind of answered this, but what, if you can go into a little more detail about what your self-care looks like. You mentioned like you're a esthetician and taking naps now.
Yeah, so my esthetician, taking naps, telling people no, which I say that I am like a recovering people pleaser. And it's funny because like my husband is so not. And I remember one of the biggest fights we ever got into was about me people pleasing because
Mm,
I used to travel for my old job. And like when I say travel, I mean there are 30 days in a month and I would be on the road like 25 of them.
wow.
And so I had this stint where like I was home, like on the road for a stretch. I was home for 2 days and I was going for another stretch. And my church was moving into a new building, and the pastor had called me to ask if I could come in and like help paint or something like that. And I like, and so at first I like told he was my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna stay home. The pastor's like, we really could use your help. We really
Hard
need
to
you.
tell
So
a
I
pastor
went.
no.
It's hard to tell a pastor no. So I went and did it and then lied to my boyfriend and said I wasn't. So
Oh
then he's trying to call
no.
me and like talk to me. And it whatever was supposed to end at like 8 didn't end until 10. So he's like, I'm trying to call you. You're not answering. He's like, you're at that church. So he's like, you can say no. He's like, you can tell them no. It's not gonna fall apart. If you don't come paint the church, it's still gonna get painted. And like we got in this knockdown drag out fight. But it really made me think about like, God, how many times am I saying yes to the detriment of myself? I mean, this was like the physical detriment of myself. I was there until 10 and had like to be at the airport at like 5 a.m. or something stupid,
Right.
right? And so, and it still had taken me like, this was obviously, he was my boyfriend and we've now been married for 3 years, but it has taken me time to like flex that no muscle because I have this like deep seated thing about I won't be accepted. People won't like me. I have to morph into like the person that they think I am or who I should be to them. And my fear was that if I said no, they would reject me. And obviously you have the fear because you say no to someone and then they reject you, right?
Right.
But I had to like learn like I'm okay with that. Them rejecting me because I said no is about them, not me.
Right.
And like once I really got that detail on the inside, I was like, my name is no, my sign is no. Like I was like, no, 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 no. So a lot of times self-care for me looks like No, I'm not going to put myself out to do XYZ thing you want to do. No, I'm not putting my family out or my children out to do XYZ around your schedule. I can't take that on right now. That's a responsibility that I can't handle. And it's everything from like, oh, we were supposed to have plans with like our larger family and someone wanted to change the weekend. Well, you can change the weekend, but the Baltimore Cartledges will not be there. Right. No, that doesn't work for our family. That doesn't work for our schedule. No. So sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's blessing and releasing a potential client and being like, I can already see you're going to be too much work. Nope. I don't want you. I don't want any. I don't want it. Right. So sometimes it is saying no to that. Sometimes it's saying no to myself. Like, yeah, you want to have that Pop-Tart, but maybe go hop on your Peloton, go take a Peloton class instead, So, but I think that really has helped me so much because I spend so much less time worrying about, are they going to be mad at me? What are they thinking? Who cares? If you're mad because I said no, then like, we don't have whatever type of relationship I thought we don't have. So I think that's another like big thing for self-care. One of my self-care habits that I picked up in the pandemic was press on nails because like I obviously wasn't going to the nail salon. So like one little thing I do is usually either Thursday night or Friday night, I like kick my husband out of the bedroom. I turn on my reality TV shows and I do my press on nails. And that's just like my tiny little, okay, this is my me thing. That I like to do. And yeah, we talked about the facials. I'm going to get back into, I used to get massages regularly and I stopped that during the pandemic. So I'm going to get back into that. But yeah, so it's like, but I think saying no is like my biggest self-care flex, honestly.
Yeah, probably. I just want to say it says a lot about your character when your boyfriend can't reach you at 10 o'clock at night and he's like, I know you're at that church.
You should ask him one day about that. Like get him on here and ask him about it. I mean, we had a knockdown girl about being at the church but yeah, it's hard to tell a pastor. And I'm a preacher's kid, so like it's really hard for me to tell a pastor no.
Oh, yeah. I do want to go back to one thing actually that you said earlier, and I forgot I wanted to ask you more about it. So when I was asking you about the advice for someone who wants to make a change but they're afraid to, and you said reach out to an expert. How do we know who an expert is? Because I was talking about you earlier today because I was telling someone about who was going to be on the show, and they remembered you from the Chasing Joy event, and I was saying, yeah, like I'd actually let her dress me. That's because I feel like I know a lot of people who call themselves stylists, and I'm sure they do stylist work for clients or whatever. So technically they are. But I feel like they just put together whatever craziness they can come up with so that they will stand out. But to me, that doesn't necessarily, just because your outfit looks like something that no one else would think of, does not mean that you're a stylist. So how would we know who an expert is?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So I think there's a couple ways that you can do it. So for people who call themselves stylists and are actually, like you said, styling people, look beyond their personal outfits, go to their websites, set up a complimentary consultation with them, ask to see their portfolio, ask for testimonials. I welcome that. So many of my clients have done that. Usually by the time a client signs on with me and we're having a consultation, they've already dug through my Instagram, dug through my website, looked at the portfolio on my website, seen the client testimonials. So they like have a very good idea of what they're getting into, but you shouldn't be scared to kick in the tires. But the reason I say look beyond how they dress themselves is because a good stylist is going to be able to dress you as the best version of yourself, not a mini version of themselves. So I have clients that range the gamut from like, I have people that hire me to style family photo shoots for like holiday cards and things like that, all the way to, like I said, I have a couple clients that are in their like 50s and 60s and are sort of doing these career changes or, like, okay, I'm retiring, so I need to get rid of my work clothes, like all of that kind of stuff. My job is never to just create mini versions of myself. So very few of my clients may say like, oh, I really liked this thing you had on, but I've never had a client say, I just want to look like you, right? So if you're good at your job, you should be able to style someone regardless of your personal style as a stylist. So I would just say, when you see people, like, don't be afraid if it's not obvious, right, and on their website with a portfolio, testimonials, and that thing kind of thing, don't be afraid to ask them. I even, I have people ask for testimonials, and I'll be like, I'll do you one further. Here's 3 clients you can email and ask about. Because again, you don't want to spend that money. The other thing I would say is, like, every stylist kind of worth their weight is going to give you a chance to do like an introductory free consultation. And that is as much an interview for us interviewing you as a potential client, but more importantly for you to interview us as your potential stylist. So you can ask questions, you can ask them about their process, you can ask them about how they work, you can ask them. I almost always kind of, when I talk to people about what they're looking for and what they need, I try to say to them, okay, based on what you're telling me, here's how I think I can help you. And here's the steps that would take. But I make it very clear that when we work together, the very first step in my process is a personal like lifestyle and style assessment, so that I can get to know you and what you like and what your lifestyle is. But I know there's a lot of people out here on Instagram, I'm a stylist, because they put together a cute outfit and take a picture of it. So like, kick the tires. I mean, the same way you would interview an OBGYN when you're going to have a baby, like it, because the stylist is an investment, right? Like, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I know that my prices are not cheap. And so treat hiring a stylist the same way you would treat another major investment in yourself that you're going to make.
So you guys who are watching our virtual studio audience, feel free to put any questions for me or Erika. A couple comments that we got so far. Miss Lily was saying it's hard nowadays for preteens to find the right style for themselves without going overboard.
Yeah.
Chanel, who was on season 1 of Chase the Joy show, she's an expert in ageism. So you were talking about some of your older clients feeling like, the styles were no longer like sexy or really suiting their personalities that were supposed to be age appropriate. She wrote cough, ageism, cough.
Very much. I mean, there's ageism, there's, I don't know if you want to call it sizeism, fat phobia, like that's all a thing that runs rampant in the fashion industry. And that's part of why I do what I do and want to work with people, is because I feel like my clients, I don't want to say they're on the fringes, but my clients almost exclusively, except for I could think of maybe like 3, do not fit like the stereotypical, this is a model body and this is what it looks like, right? So, and when I say stereotypical, I mean call it 5'8" to 5'10", a size 2'4", blah, 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 right? So I might have a client who's like fit, but she's petite, she's 5 foot. That's a whole other struggle, right? Being curvy and petite, whole struggle. Being extremely tall, I have a client who's like over 6 foot, whole other struggle, right? So I really try to work with people who are not like fashion, not that I don't love working with fashion models, but I'm like, they don't struggle because they in theory can go and put on anything and it looks great on them, right? And so I really want to help the people who are like, I hate shopping because I never find anything that looks good on my body and I really need some help here. And that's most of us.
So Veronica asked, is it just a one-time setup, or do you see clients the way people see their hairdresser?
Oh, that's a great question. So the way it works is yes and no. So I have clients that will book a certain package with me. And so when you book a package with me, so let's just say you call it my base level package, you get your consultation, you get a body shape and color story analysis. And then if we're working virtually, I'll create like a lookbook that you can shop from your lookbook. And like literally you click the picture and it takes you to the website and you buy it. Or you get in-person shopping sessions with me where we're going to the store, we're pulling the pieces. Then we do a styling session together. And what that session is designed to do is take the new clothes that you bought and the clothes that are already in your closet and show you how you can start mixing and matching to create a cohesive, but also like a diverse wardrobe, so you can see how to use like one shirt 3 or 4 different ways. So some people just contact me and they're like, okay, I really need you to just like jumpstart this change for me, or I really need you to help me detox my closet. And that might be a one-time thing. Typically what ends up happening is they'll go through that process, and then when my clients are finished, I'm like, oh, if you want to keep me on retainer because in the fall and winter you're going to want to do this again, or a year from now you're going to want to refresh your closet, you can book a retainer service to retain my services, and then you just call me when you're ready to go. Or you can say, okay, I know I'm going to want a new lookbook when the seasons change, so can I just pre-purchase a fall and winter lookbook for this year, and that sort of thing. But I do also have clients that keep me on retainer and sort of like, I'm paying this fee to you to make you available for me when I need to go shopping. I have this event, et cetera, et cetera. Because if you think about, if you're going to hire a stylist because you have like 3 events in a year, then it starts to just be more cost effective to keep someone on retainer, because then every time you have an event, you can call them and they can help you. So depends on what my clients want, how if they see me one time or like their hairdresser.
Keep dropping your questions in the comments, guys. But right now, we're going to switch over to our game.
Yeah.
I know you're like, what is this game? What is this game? All right. So before I switch to the game, I'm just going to say, so anyone who knows me, like in real life, you've been around me any good amount of time, know that I went to Temple University and I loved my experience. I wear my Temple ring. I had on a Temple t-shirt today for no reason. I just had it on. I forgot I even had it on until someone mentioned it. So I loved my college experience. I think Erika is one of the few people who probably loved her college experience even more than me. So bear with me while I switch over to share my screen. She's like, what is this?
I don't know, but I do love my Howard, so.
Yes, so today our game is going to be, I don't know if you guys can see it yet. Hold on. Name these famous bison.
This will be fun.
And bison is the mascot for Howard, right? I did my little research. Like, I don't want to mess
You
this
got
up.
it right. You got it right. That's our new
All
bison.
right.
It's came
So
in the last
Eric
5
is
years.
going to guess, and then you guys in the comments can guess as well. Okay. So starting out with an easy one here. Who said we did it, Joe?
Madam Vice President Kamala Harris.
That would be correct.
Yay.
All right. Let's go to our next one. She played Cookie Lyons, a hidden figure, and Jodie's baby mama.
Taraji P. Henson.
You are on these. I thought this was such a good picture of her too.
Yeah, she looks gorgeous there. I wonder if that's promoting her hair care line.
I think it might be.
Her curls are popping.
I didn't even realize till today I was on YouTube, and she has full YouTube tutorials showing how she does it. Like, I know I've caught her Instagram here or there where she was like doing her own hair, but I didn't know she had like full.
Yeah, if you buy the product, it'll like give you the link in the website and stuff. Oh
Yeah, I don't know why it can't, because I don't really search a lot of hair stuff on YouTube, but for whatever reason it was in my feed today. All right, let's see. This famous father is always wilding out.
Oh, Nick Cannon. I mean, he's like my age, but he acts like a young bison.
He is just really having these babies lately. But
listen,
more power to him, I guess.
If you can afford it, build that legacy line.
Yeah. The moms don't seem to be complaining.
Nope. Nope.
I'm just checking to see if we have any comments coming in. All right. This reality TV veteran is known for her bonnet chronicles.
Tammy Roman.
Yes.
She really does give good advice though in her bonnet chronicles.
She
I'll be
does.
cracking up.
She does. She does. She's funny. She's like really funny, and she's very honest.
Yes.
She's very honest. She says a lot of the same things that other people say, but she says it more like tell it like this kind of thing.
Yep.
Like if you need that in your face, non-sugar coated advice.
Yes. And she's always been like that. So when I was sneaking to watch The Real World, her season was the first season I snuck to watch.
Me too. I never will get that image of them dragging her
out
of my head, trying to drag her out ever. That's like permanent.
Ever.
And she went through some stuff on that season. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably stuff I shouldn't have been watching.
Well, yeah, so I was like, when I was sneaking, I was way too young to be watching it, but
I don't even think my parents knew that it existed.
For
me to be watching it.
No, my parents didn't know, and they found out, and so I think I lost like my TV in my room for quite a while.
Oh no. All right. This Howard dropout, known for popularizing the shiny suit era of late 90s hip hop, started his own company that launched the careers of many recording artists.
The D, the I, the D, the G, the Y, the D, the I, the D. It's Diddy. Well, and fun fact is Andre Harrell, who worked with Diddy, was like his roommate at Howard their freshman year.
I didn't know that.
I believe it's Andre. Because Andre's the one that just like recently passed away, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they went to Howard together.
Yes, I did not know that. I never heard that. You always hear about him. And what do you call? I just can't bring myself to call him. He's always Puffy to me.
I think I alternate between Puffy and Diddy.
Like he's just always like, I knew you as Puffy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like,
out and I loved all that music. That's what I like. Obviously, I know all these other names, but that's what.
I feel like Puffy or Diddy, because I do find myself singing that Diddy song a lot, which was like the heyday of the shiny suit era.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun era, though.
Oh, so good, so good.
Veronica says it's always Puffy to her too. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what will solidify us as the age that we are.
Probably, you're right. Like it is weird to hear, like our kids, they only know like Boyz II Men as having 3 members. Well, first of all, they're like Boyz II Men's old school, and I'm like, close your mouth. Those are fighting words. But they argued me up and down about them only having 3 members, or like how people that only know like Dwayne Johnson as Dwayne Johnson and not like The Rock as a Rock. Like our kids were shocked to find out he was a wrestler.
Like they don't know what the people's eyebrow is?
No, they're like if you said, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? They'd be like, what is wrong with you? Are you talking about cooking drugs? You're not a drug dealer, maybe. Like what? They would have like no concept of, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Like they were shocked to find that out.
Oh wow, that's funny. Yeah, because people go through like these whole reinventions of themselves.
They go, or like, I mean, it's just funny to talk. Have you like? You should have kids on here one time and ask them questions, because even like we went to a restaurant and they had a typewriter there, and our daughter was like, "Wow, that's the old timey thing you used to write letters on." And I was like, "I did my college applications on a typewriter, ma'am." Like they're not that old timey,
right?
So yeah, it's just really funny to watch that.
All right, I think this is our last one. So from the Bayou to Wife of the Bishop, she starred in the movie Eve's Bayou and the series Greenleaf.
So I don't actually watch Greenleaf, but is it Lynn Whitfield?
Correct. Ah! You know your bison.
I know my bison. I was like, the Eve's Bayou, I knew, but I'm like, I don't watch Greenleaf. Everyone tells me I should watch it. People are like, you'd like it.
I think now would be a good time to watch it. I didn't watch it for years. I started watching it the second to last season. it was good to like binge all the way through.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, it was entertaining enough, especially since there
Okay.
was plenty of episodes. But I don't know that I would have loved it if I was waiting each week.
Oh, like
Like
doing
it
week to week. I
wasn't,
gotcha.
yeah. So now is a good time. Like it
Okay.
was entertaining enough. It was good
Okay.
enough.
All right. I might try
But I
that.
will say it's a show where I actively disliked every character. Like every single character I felt was a horrible person. But I was mostly like, well, what they gonna do this time? What's gonna be the repercussions? So I kept watching it
Okay.
because it was entertaining, but it wasn't like I really loved the character and was like, it was no one to root for. Like I'm just rooting
Gotcha.
against all of you.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. That's good.
So
That's good to know going
yeah.
into it. Oh, this is a fun little game.
Oh, my aunt is also Bison. She said HU.
You know?
Oh. Oh, Miss Lily said one of the Boys to Men band members used to live near her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So funny. One Sean Stockton married a girl from Toledo, and I lived in Toledo in high school, so they got married at my church there.
Oh.
Yeah. And Boys to Men was my first concert when I was 12 years old.
I was so young. My first concert was Powerhouse
Oh.
because my dad used to work for a beer distributor for a while, and they
Oh,
were sponsors. So my
nice.
first concert, I was in fourth grade.
That's awfully young
So
for
I was
Powerhouse.
very young, and I remember, oh my gosh, I think his name was Kwame was the rapper, and he used to wear like the polka dot outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably appealing because it was polka dots, and I really enjoyed polka dots. Always have. Like I remember that. That was like the only thing I remember,
That's so funny.
and that I remember it was a big crowd, and I was a little scared of so many people. But that was my
Yeah,
first. I was very young. So question for you,
sure.
Marilyn asks, oh, if I can scroll back, it's not Marilyn, you can retype it if I get it wrong. It's not cooperating with me scrolling back. But I think she asked, what's one article of clothing or accessory or whatever that everyone should have in their wardrobe?
Oh, just one. So I think it's one piece, but I'll give you an either or. Either a denim jacket or like a leather moto jacket. Here's why. You can literally pair those things with anything and it will look cool. So your denim jacket, you could obviously pair it with like jeans and a t-shirt, but you could put it over a skirt, you could put it over a dress, you can wear it in all 5 seasons, you could wear it with like a turtleneck and slacks. Like you could just do so many things. And then the same thing with a leather moto jacket. And the thing I love to do with those are like do opposite. So if I wear the leather jacket, I like to pair something really kind of like delicate and frilly with it. Even I almost took pictures for our wedding with like a moto jacket like draped over my shoulders
So what
because it
exactly is
just
a
looks
moto jacket?
like a motorcycle jacket, like a
Okay.
leather one, but it doesn't have to have all the like chains and everything on it. Like you can, if you just Google it and just Google like
Mhm.
classic moto jacket, it'll come up. But I think those are actually just like super versatile pieces that people do not think about because it's not like, oh, you need slacks, you need a good pair of pumps, you need a bag. But I actually think one thing that would diversify your entire wardrobe would be one of those 2 jackets.
It's funny. I saw a meme. I think it was last week. It said, and it was a picture of a girl with a denim jacket, and it was like every girl has this denim jacket in her closet that she wear with everything. And I was like, I do have that jacket. I do wear it
And
with
think
a
about
lot of stuff.
how many ways you wear it
Yes.
and how you like can totally switch up an outfit. So like a moto jacket serves the same purpose
Mhm.
kind of like as a denim jacket. So yeah, if you want to like edge it up a little bit, go the moto jacket route.
Marilyn said I got her question right, and I think her
Okay,
other
good.
question was, do you work with teachers? Which I'm sure the answer is yes. I'm pretty sure you work with people of all different
I work with
professions.
people of all different professions. My newest client, I just signed as a teacher. I have, it's interesting. So kind of mid post pandemic, I have gotten a lot of doctors, nurses, and teachers as my clients. And I think doctors and nurses because they've been wearing scrubs for a year, and teachers because they have been behind a camera for so much of the year and been like virtual for so much of the year that they want to like step it up when they're back in the classroom. So absolutely.
Well, Erika, this has been so much fun.
Yeah,
Our
this was
hour
so good.
went pretty quick, an hour
I
plus
know. I was like,
now.
I don't even feel like I stayed up past bedtime.
Yeah, so thank you for staying up with me. I always end with our same couple of questions, which are just kind of a throwback to when I used to do the Chase and Joy newsletter, which you have been
Yes.
featured in.
Yes. Yeah.
Been in the newsletter. So I asked everyone who's on the show, what is the last movie that you saw and what's the last trip you've been on? And you can define those as broadly as you like.
So the last movie I saw that was like a new movie and not some Disney movie on repeat for my son was Without Remorse with Michael B. Jordan. And I say it's the last movie I saw. Yeah, that I also like stayed awake for the whole thing. Because my husband and I, every Friday night we watch movies. I pass out 30 minutes.
This was the one where he was in the service. I'm not going to give it
Mm-hmm,
away, right? That was a
mm-hmm,
good movie.
mm-hmm.
I stayed up late to watch that as well.
Yeah. I was like, he's like, oh, so you can stay up to watch a movie. I was like, yeah, if Michael B. Jordan is in it, of course. So that's the last movie. And then I will say, the last trip I went on was to visit my parents in Lynchburg, Virginia. We went for Easter, but if pandemic trip, but it wasn't really a trip. We have a friend that has a lake house in Virginia. And so she offered up the lake house to us for a week.
Oh, nice.
So my husband and I were able to like leave my son with my parents. And our older two didn't come up last summer because of the pandemic, but it was nice to escape there for a week and just be in this like giant lakefront property where we could just like swim and jet ski. We didn't see any other people. And it was like, I'm like, we have to do this once a year now.
I'm just going to say, I am so jealous to every parent that gets to leave their kids somewhere for more than a night. My son has only been away from me overnight, I think. Is it twice? Maybe once.
Yeah,
Three.
we are really, really blessed. That's part of why I moved from Philly to Maryland, is because we knew we wanted to have a family, and my husband's from here. So there's any number of aunties and uncles who are like, yeah, we'll take him. And I like once he turned like 6 months, I think the pandemic accelerated this, right? Like if there wasn't a pandemic and I wasn't home with him all the time, I don't think I would have been like ready to be like, yep, bye.
Right.
But I think because I went from maternity leave like almost straight into the pandemic, like by the time he was 6 or 7 months, I was like, I could use a break.
Yeah.
And then my parents were like the only people I trusted at the time. So like they took him, but now he, like my husband has an aunt who comes and gets him like for a weekend, like every other month or so. Just like, yeah, take a break. And we don't ever do any, like, it's not like we go to dinner or do anything
You
fancy.
don't need to.
Like
It's already
like I think Without Remorse I watched because she had him. But like we do stuff like, oh, we can breeze through the laundry, we can mop a floor.
and
It's never anything fancy.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, Erika, before you go, do you want to share like where people can follow you online or about any new upcoming opportunities? You said you're not taking clients in June, but like maybe when will you be taking new clients?
I'll be taking clients in July. And what I will say is if you're interested in working with me, I'm still booking consultations to get the client list together for July. So don't wait until July because you run the risk of me being like, oh, by the way, I can't really work with you until August. If you're interested, definitely still book the consultation and just know, it'll be a couple weeks before we get rocking and rolling. But I am also running a small group closet detox program. And so this is basically my closet detox process that I do with my clients one-on-one, but it's in a small group setting. And so here's why I love doing this. One, for me, it's a little bit easier to do multiple on one instead of doing one-on-one for everyone. So it saves some time. But for you, the benefit of doing it in a small group is it's at a discounted rate. So typically to book a closet detox, I think the price is like $750. And if you do the small group, it's $297. So you get a discounted rate, but you get the same program and the same process. And my next small group, it's always my most popular small group. So it always sells out. In the next one, I have a few spots, and it starts July 1st. So if you want to learn about that, you can go to my website, www.yourchicIsshowing.com. You can go to my Instagram, which is Your Chic is Showing, or you can look me up on Facebook and just search for Your Chic is Showing, and it should pop up. You could also, if you see my name, on Facebook and you want to just send me a message, or you want to send me a message on Instagram, feel free to do that as well. And I can get you the links and everything that you need. But I will say now is actually a really good time to do it, because people in the spring, they were going crazy for closet detoxes, and in the fall, they'll go crazy for closet detoxes. So summer is actually a really good time to do it and get it out of the way. And like I said, the small group program gives you the exact same process and program, but you're getting a significant discount to do it in the small group program. We do weekly lives to talk through things. I walk you through every step of the process. So one week is focused on one step of the process. It's a 30-day program. And so it's a really, really good value if you're like, okay, I want to start at step one, which step one should probably always be to detox the closet before we start adding in a bunch of new stuff into your wardrobe. So yeah. So definitely, and please follow me on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook. I love getting questions and talking to people and interacting. So I hope that I'll get to hang out with you guys.
So for those who are watching live in the Facebook group, I did tag Erika and Your Chic is Showing, so you can just click there. Once we're done, don't click there now. But you can click there, and that will take you to her the Your Chic is Showing Facebook page, which I'm sure will have a link to the website there. Just a few final comments that we got. Veronica said that Luther was her favorite concert. I mean, her first concert, and he was skinny.
Because there's a difference.
That matters. And Lisa Fisher was one of his backup singers. Ooh. And Janice said she was at that same powerhouse that I was at with Kwame.
I love this. I love it.
And then Miss Lily said this has been, and then she put the smiling emoji with the stars. So I think it was wonderful.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Marilyn, Veronica, Miss Lily, and Janice for being in our virtual studio audience. Thank you, Erika, for staying up late to talk with us. I appreciate it so much. You know what it's like trying to build your business around your kids.
Yes, as I sit here with the monitor next to me, 100%.
Mine's right there to the left. Oh, Janice said her first concert was New Edition.
Ooh, that's a really good one. Wow. I had tickets. Fun fact: remember when they like reunited and then they went on tour and then everything went left, and so they canceled like half the tour. Oh. I had tickets, but it got canceled before our show date.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, because that would have been a good one. That would have been a good one for good too.
I had to get my life to New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys instead when they went on tour together. Yeah. I was like, all right, not consolation. Same, it's not the same.
Still good, but not the same.
It's not the same. It's not.
No. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And there will be another Chasing Joy show next Saturday night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.